and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor. It is Monday, October 25th, 2021, episode 799 and a half. We're going to go with the half, right? And that enables our boy Will, who will be with us tomorrow, to join in on the big 800.
So,
right.
You're welcome.
800. And did you say October 25th? Boy, has this year flown by.
Hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, it's been pretty fast, I'd say.
Yeah, a little too fast. How many of these years have we got left? Like 50? Like if we're lucky?
20?
40,
that's
30?
Positive thinking, man.
Yeah, right. So let's say 35. This was pretty quick. If there's only 35 left, I don't like it. I don't like the speed that it's going.
Slow it down.
Slow it down.
I'm going to the doctor tomorrow for a close to 40 checkup, and pretty sure he's going to tell me I've got about 20 years left if I keep, maybe 15 if I keep going the way I'm going.
Do they
you see this number? This is what your body's age is.
Yeah,
63.
Mm-hmm.
Do they call it a lot? Like, is that a thing? Like when you turn 40, they're like, yeah, 20 years. They just give you a number.
No, they never do that. No one would go to the doctor if they did that.
They don't give you a number, but they scare you, they embarrass you, and say, you know,
they call you fat.
What are you doing?
Right. Right. That's what I want, though. I need a scare, so I'm basically paying for a scare tomorrow.
Yes,
I want the equivalent.
Scare.
Yeah,
I want the equivalent of the teacher that fucks the student without the sex when it comes to my doctor. I want the doctor to be like the cool teach. You know, who like, and my dentist, I want that too. Who's like, hey man, cavities are tough, but don't worry, you might get rich and you can just get implants of teeth. Or
I'm with you on dentist, Pat. I had, I think you're right there, dead on the dentist. Like I've never had a cavity, but my gums have always been shitty. I don't floss much, and I had to get like gum surgery way back in the day to get roof of my mouth to the bottom of my gums. Like eventually my teeth are gonna fall out because my gums. My teeth are strong, gums are shit. So like every time I go, they're like, you got too much tartar, and they tear my gums up. And then one time I went in Austin and went to a different dentist. I was like, I started giving all the buzz phrases that like all the other dentists gave me. He goes, no, those guys are idiots. Your teeth are perfect. You're the best. And he's just like,
that's what I'm talking about. Take my money.
What is this guy talking about?
Take my money. A D's, it's a good mark. It's not enough.
Yeah.
That's
like
right.
That.
Teach.
I wish everyone had teeth like you is what he said. You're a perfect patient. I was like,
here's the deal.
What is going on?
When you get near 70, you're going to lose a lot of your teeth. Who cares at that point, right? Just, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm in the metaverse, who cares?
It's going to be a pain in the dick, but yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we got? What are we talking about today, boys?
Tons of stuff, Wes. I'm doing the coffee. You're going to fucking love it. We're going to get into what happened with this Alec Baldwin shooting on the set of that movie Rust. I have some exclusive information about what may have caused the accident, and that's not like when we say we have an exclusive recording, but it's really not. It's really us. So stay tuned for that. That is exclusive to Hard Factor. What are you guys getting into?
Fantastic.
I think Wes and I have a bunch of hilarious sex stories. Like most of the show is just gonna be funny sex stories that we text each other the stories over the weekend, and we're like, oh, what?
That?
A lot of yeah.
Oh wow,
it's good. We got some good stuff. So looking forward to and because of our new sponsors are very sexual as well. So.
Yeah, we got a couple of sexual sponsors. It goes like peanut butter and jelly with today's show. Well, Pat, you want to take us away then?
Yeah, I'll take you right there. It's time for the
cream of the crop.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Whoopsie.
What I meant to do was
cup of coffee in the big time.
I hope that doesn't make the cream of the crop less dramatic. But anyway, okay. Guys, let's start with a fun fact. Where do you think the hottest place on Earth is?
In a volcano somewhere.
Not what I'm talking about. So don't
some
try.
desert.
It's not a riddle.
It's gonna be what's that? California, the desert
Death Valley.
out there. Death Valley, yeah.
Could be. That's definitely probably the hottest place in the Estados Unidos. But the hottest place on Earth, guys, ever recorded. That's a quick caveat. Is El Aziziyah in Libya, where a temperature of 136 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded September 13th, 1922. And I got to ask, guys, what is it with religious fundamentalist countries and it being hot as shit? It's like already the hottest place in the world. And then they're like, now all you women put on these head-to-toe burqas.
Yeah.
Right? It's insult to injury, if you ask me. Scientists predict that the same spot may reach as high as 215 degrees this summer. So ladies of Libya, you might want to consider a stronger SPF for your eyelids and the tops of your fingers.
They didn't, not 215, really.
No, they didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be quite a jump from 136, but that is hot. That is hot.
Yeah, alarm.
hot.
Anything over like 72 is probably too hot for a burqa.
Yeah, I agree. It's
yeah.
just, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's bring that religious fundamentalism to, like, I don't know, like a colder place.
San Diego?
A colder place, like,
Yeah.
Europe. We're like,
Or just
Russia.
do away with it.
or you could do away with it. That's your
Yeah.
call. What's today, guys? What are the holidays? Well, today is World Pasta Day, National Greasy Foods Day, I Care About You a Lot Day, and all of those holidays exist because of another holiday they share with October 25th, and that is National Mother-in-Law Day,
Oh,
right?
Nice.
fantastic.
As in, like, fuck it, I'm just going to get some pasta and egg rolls after dealing with your mother-in-law all day. And then after she leaves, you say something that you know is true, but your spouse can't recognize about their own mother. Then they get really pissed at you.
That's never good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you
Test
have to
the
say,
waters.
you have to say, I'm sorry. You know I care about you a lot. And your mother's great.
There's some fun.
And then you say you can't see it because you're just like your mother, and then
Mhm.
that doesn't go over well. No.
There's a hilarious Onion article that popped up not too long ago. It was like, man tests waters for the first time by insulting mother-in-law.
Yeah. For anyone out there that hasn't,
Don't do that.
Yeah,
look,
don't do
I'm
that.
sure my parents have pissed off the people I've dated, right? I've been pretty lucky with great parents-in-laws of
Same.
relationships. But if you haven't addressed with your partner the things about your partner's parents that annoy you, just don't. That's just one thing. You just leave it alone because nothing good can come from it. So
That's a special thing you get to keep.
that's just for you.
That's for you.
Yeah, and it will make your friends laugh really loud when you say it behind their back. So that's
Yeah, it's for you and your friends.
true.
There you go. All right, guys. Today in history, 1940, the first African-American general was made in the U.S. military. Benjamin Oliver Davis, U.S. Army. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Also, Katy Perry was born in 1984, so you're
Nice.
welcome. All right, what are the honorable trends, right? The big weekend, huge weekend. Shiba Inu, the cryptocurrency, Ethereum-based cryptocurrency, was trending big time because it was Googled more than 200,000 times after it shot up in value 50% to 0.00003675
Yeah, it's. I mean, I feel like I'm missing the boat a little bit on Shiba because, as you said, it's on Coinbase now, and this is a great entry level coin for anyone who just wants to say they own something. So it's probably just going to keep going up, right?
I mean, I don't think you missed the boat, Wes. We bought it 8 months ago. Since then, it's tripled. We didn't get in on the 36,707,000% growth that it's taken from day one. So put a buck
Then
in
you
when
missed
it
the boat.
launched.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed the fucking boat. But it has become the world's 11th biggest cryptocurrency by market value. So that's pretty
What
good.
is it, over $1 billion?
Oh, it's like 14 billion.
Oh,
No, I
fuck
mean
that. That's too
is that
big.
the market cap is that.
Yeah, market cap. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's too much. I'm not getting in any coin that has over $1 billion market cap.
You should though, because here's what happened with Shiba, right? It got really hype, right, as a Doge alternative. Then Coinbase listed it. It went up, and then now there's a big change.org petition for Robinhood to list it. Fuck Robinhood, but it is a mainstream brokerage account for crypto. So it's only going to go.
I only get it on the ground floor like Starship.
Yep, Starship is crushing right now. It's at like 60 cents yesterday, 70 cents almost. It's
70
fucking
cents.
nuts. So you're welcome for that, guys. We took you from, I think we introduced Starship to our listeners at like 28.
20 something. Yeah,
And it's gone up and down, but that's crypto. But it had an all-time high yesterday. All right, Patrick Mahomes, guys, was also trending. He was all the rage on the internet Sunday after he had to be helped off the field and out of the game against the Titans after taking a knee to the head from Tennessee's D lineman Jeffrey Simmons. Mahomes, he cleared the concussion protocol, so that's good, but it's unclear if he'll return next week. And his brother, TikTok dancer Jackson Mahomes, gave a statement to the media regarding his brother's injury, saying, quote, "How does this affect me?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He's a
just
piece of shit.
danced. He just danced. They're like,
Piece
what,
of shit.
what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
He's like,
So-
I think I said it all in that dance.
Patrick Mahomes is going to be just fine. But
He
his
had a
brother
bad
Jackson,
game. He had a bad game. 27-3, I think, was the Titans over the Chiefs.
fumble, interception.
Ugly.
Not looking good. Don't bet on the Chiefs. Okay, let's get into the top 3 trending topics of the day. Number 3, guys, Bomb cyclone. Yeah, meteorologists are at it again, throwing sick-sounding names onto weather phenomenon that are way more sick and cool-sounding than the actual phenomenon itself. And the newest one, bomb cyclone, right? Sounds pretty cool, right? Like, oh my God, man. I just
Sounds like it should be a club.
can't believe I saw a fucking bomb cyclone. I don't even know how I'm alive, right? Wrong.
Yeah.
It's not much of anything. A bomb cyclone occurs when mid-latitude cyclone rapidly intensifies, dropping in atmospheric pressure at least 24 millibars, which is a measure of pressure, over 24 hours, and the low pressure is stronger than the pressure of the storm. So that's a bomb cyclone.
I see. So it's a major gorilla dick.
It's a huge gorilla dick,
You
bro.
can be like, oh, I just survived the bomb cyclone.
Yeah. Good for
and
you.
then people are like, whoa, he's got a huge gorilla dick.
Not an impressive shirt to wear. Yeah. I survived the bomb cyclone, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Yeah.
I guess bomb cyclone led to record rains in Northern California over the weekend. Anyway, let's move on. Doesn't matter. People were talking about it. Not worth it. Number 2. This one's kind of sad, guys. Gunther. Gunther. James Michael Tyler, the actor that played Gunther on Friends and was Central Perk's surliest barista. He passed away on Sunday morning after a 3-year battle with advanced prostate cancer. He was 59. He, in 2018, saw a PSA about prostate cancer. Was like, maybe I'll check that out. And it turned out it was advanced when they tested it.
Oof.
Make sure if you're, both men and women, but it affects men more. But if you're a man north of 40, like Wes is about to be, get in there, get that finger up your butt.
I was going to go north or south of 40. I just wanted a finger up my butt, apparently.
Yeah, they say 38 now is when you should do it, like 38 and a half or something. But unless you just want the finger up your butt, then you just go.
Gunther, you can just get a finger up your butt. It's if you have healthcare, it's a free finger up your butt, right?
Yeah.
Gunther, in the most Gunther move of all time, went on the Friends reunion via like a Zoom call, and they were all like, "Oh, it's Gunther. We haven't talked to Gunther in years," and he looked like he was dying of stage 4 cancer, and they were all like, "Oh," and like none of the stars had like kept up with him, which was like exactly his character in Friends. He was just invisible to Rachel and everyone on Friends. No one cared about him, and he literally was like, "Hi, I'm here. I couldn't make it in person and then like it came out the next day he was obviously dying of cancer."
Right. Jennifer Aniston
total Gunther
hadn't caught up with him in 15 years. None of them really had. But he also
too concerned with Matthew Perry. He gets all the worry.
Dude, I started watching that show, the Good Wife or The Good Fight? The Good Fight, which is a spinoff of The Good Wife. It's a pretty good show. Matthew Perry makes a guest appearance arc in the first season over 4 episodes. First 2 episodes I can't fucking watch because it was like right around the time of the Friends reunion. And he's
he's like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, you can't fucking. He's just fucked up. He's just
instead of Parkinson's, he just takes too many drugs.
Yeah, he's fucked up, bro.
Well, it's the same kind of thing. Like, look, it's Michael J. Fox. Hey, yay!
I was like, Matthew Perry's in this episode.
He claims it was dental surgery. That's what he claims.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's talk about Gunther real quick, guys. Oh, he said in the Friends reunion that Mark's referencing, quote, "It was the most memorable 10 years of my life." So that was pretty cool. But Tyler appeared in 150 episodes of the show. That's debated. 148 to 165. It's different from all the sources. Who knows? But he was there for pretty much every episode after the pilot. And he will probably forever be known as the luckiest extra of all time, because here's the thing about television. Television residuals, fantastic money, insane money. And television peaked from a viewership perspective in the late 90s when Seinfeld and Friends were on the air. So Friends will go down as one of the biggest television shows of all time, period, cannot be beaten just because our media has changed. And it went to syndication. So Gunther, who is Tyler, right? He started as a background actor on the show, and he got steady work. So he was like a pinned background actor because he could operate a cappuccino machine because he'd worked at a coffee shop in real life. So, probably paying him. Background actors usually make between like $100 and $200 a day, but whatever. If you're in LA, you're trying to make it. Steady work, pretty cool. He had gotten his hair bleached because a friend who was a hairstylist wanted to test out her, her dyeing skills the night before his first day. So he stuck out like a sore thumb, and then he became a fixture on the show, and essentially the 7th cast member of Friends, appearing in the most episodes outside of the core 6. And he ended up making $4.65 million for his time on the show. Wow. And because it's in syndication, I bet he was pulling down north of 6 figures a year from residuals. So, pretty good.
There you go.
Pretty good.
But then God gave him prostate cancer.
Yeah, Mark,
So-
that did happen. I was trying to end on a.
I was lucky until
He's 59, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah. For us,
All right.
that's pretty good. We would be
Yeah.
pretty stoked at 59, but he might not be a degenerate piece of shit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He made it.
Oh, man.
59. We're
Wow,
high-fiving,
good job.
high-fiving each other.
Put him out of his misery. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
It's like the year, like what we all agreed to start doing heroin just gets lower and lower.
Does a spit take. Yeah,
What
it's
is
down
he,
to
the
like
oldest man
almost
alive?
70 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he get out of bed?
Okay.
All right.
Biggest story of the weekend, guys, aka
The cream of the crop!
all right. So Alec Baldwin, we heard Alec Baldwin. It was all over the news. It was a tragic accident involving Alec Baldwin on the set of his new film Rust that killed the cinematographer Halyna Hutchins and injured the director Joel Souza. And here's what happened. Well, while filming a scene in New Mexico for Rust, which is a Western, Baldwin's an actor in that movie, obviously, but he's also a producer on the film. He pulled the trigger of a gun that he thought was an unloaded weapon. This was during a rehearsal, apparently, and it was pointed at the camera with Hutchins operating the camera. She's the cinematographer, director of photography, and the director Souza standing nearby. So the bullet went right into Hutchins, unfortunately. And I want to get into a couple things because everyone's got an opinion, but there's some things I think that people should know about what the protocol on set is with weapons and how this may have happened. And we are going to get to some exclusive information about how this happened that you'll only hear on Hard Factor. But
So the bullet killed the director of photography and injured the director who is now out of the hospital. Yep.
yeah,
It went
exactly.
through her into the director.
Right. So here's the deal, guys. I want to make some stuff clear about weapons on set. So I want to say this: I'm no expert on weapons, right, or on-set weapons. However, I have been on a number of sets where real weapons were being used, and I've talked to a bunch of different armorers and people in those departments who know a lot more than me. But here's just the general of it. So on any set, right, with weapons, there's an armorer, and an armorer is a very niche and necessary job on film and TV sets that are using weapons of any kind, especially guns. And the armorer's job is essentially to be the person exclusively responsible for the weapons on set and their safe and proper use.
Their job is to have the coolest title of anyone on set.
It is the sickest name
armorer.
on set. And
Yeah.
there's not a lot of armorers, believe it or not, because it's like not a job that I'd say like probably 90% of movies don't need one, right? So
Well, it's got to be also probably one of the easiest jobs if you're not a complete idiot. I mean,
100%.
You know,
100%. And that we'll get into that. But you are right, Wes. An armorer does need to have a lot of knowledge and has a ton of responsibility, an absolute insane amount of responsibility. But
Except
a lot of
for
times,
movies like The Patriot, where everyone's got a musket. It's like 7,000.
that's probably a different story.
But
Right.
most movies, it's probably pretty easy. Yeah.
Okay, so there's an armorer, right? There you go. Here's the other thing. The first assistant director, right, or the first AD is the most important person on a movie set, period, when it comes to set operations. They're the boss of the set, and they are personally, and this is not hyperbole, they're actually personally responsible for every person on set. That's a responsibility they take when they take the job. And while the armorer is the boss of the guns, ultimately the buck stops with the first AD, period. That's it. No two ways about it. It's run like a military organization, a movie set is, with hierarchy, right? And last Thursday, Dave Halls, right, who's the assistant director on Rust, he handed Alec Baldwin a prop firearm, okay? It was a real gun that they were using a prop in a rehearsal. Now, there are movies that use blanks, right? There are movies that use cap guns. There are almost never, ever, ever movies that use live rounds. But let's assume that this set was using blanks, which they were. A cold gun, which is what Dave Halls yelled. Cold gun means nothing in the gun whatsoever. Not a blank, not a real bullet, nothing. He handed that to Baldwin, right? And he let the rest of the crew know that the gun was not loaded by saying it's a cold weapon, which is traditionally done with a rehearsal, okay? And that begs the importance of distinction. As I said, I'm not a weapons expert, but this incident has been like a whistle calling everyone who's familiar with guns to bring their expertise into the comment sections. So it's important to know, as I said, cold gun means not loaded, and they're used in rehearsals. So what's the alternative? That would be blanks, right? So Blanks, if you don't know, are bullets, right, with no projectile or slug. They're bullet casings that have gunpowder in them, which is often partially or half loaded, right? And when the gun is fired, there's a recoil, a shell casing pops out, and smoke to give the effect like you actually shot a real bullet. But the thing about blanks, and I learned this firsthand in a very scary way, is that blanks aren't safe to point at anyone at close range, because if you fire a blank, stuff comes out of it. Gunpowder, gas can come out of it. And at close range, you can kill someone straight up. I was on a short film one time. Someone put a blank in my hand. This is when I was very young, a gun loaded with blanks. The camera was supposed to come around me. I was acting as an actor. I was supposed to point the gun, past the camera and at the actor off screen. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to point the gun at the actor off screen, but I did. And I pulled the trigger and I shot another man in the chest, and he started bleeding from the gunpowder of the blanks. It was a very scary and terrible time.
You Baldwined him.
Well, this was
pulled a Baldwin.
I mean, look, we were fucking around. I didn't know any better. On a movie set, this should never happen. Period, guys.
And also, Pat, what I heard is that even like if you are using blanks on a set, you have to make sure you clean the fucking gun after every time, because there is little remnants left in there.
That's what killed. That's what killed Bruce Lee's kid.
Exactly.
So Brandon Lee, it was a tip of a bullet, and a blank was connected to it, and like that tip of the bullet was enough to kill Brandon Lee.
Little tiny piece.
100%. So let's say you were firing real live rounds right before blanks. You got to clean that barrel out, right? They were using a dummy round in The Crow, 1993, when Bruce Lee's son Brandon Lee was killed. A dummy round is it's a non-firing bullet, but if you're using a revolver and the camera's right up close, you want to see that there's a round in the gun. So a dummy round got jammed in that gun, and then they loaded it with blanks. So when the blank fired, the dummy round killed Brandon Lee. Blanks straight up had killed another actor in the 1980s who put a blank to his head and pulled the trigger. It was so close that the force of the gun killed him. Pretty nuts. So the third thing, guys, to know, right, is there should never, ever, ever, period, be a live munition on a movie set. There's no reason for it. It should absolutely never happen. The only time, to my knowledge, it's happened on a large production was Act of Valor. Remember the movie with the Marines? It was actual Marines.
They had their
acting
own guns.
People freaked out. People were really not happy. That was more of like an indie film, and I think people let it slide because it was the time and it was real military people. But there's just no purpose for it at all. It would be like if you were a poison scientist, right, who had poisons and samples of poisons in your home, and you decided to keep them in your family fridge in an unlabeled Gatorade bottle. That's the equivalent of bringing live ammunition to a set.
It'd be like if they used, Black Widows in Arachnophobia instead of, instead
what
of
if what if someone had their own personal gun on their trailer because they wanted it in case someone was robbing the set from all the hundreds of thousands of dollars of machinery and stuff?
It would be unacceptable for them to bring a personal gun on set. Period, unless the assistant director was a psycho and let them do it. But technically, like, let's say your truck, right, is not set technically. Right. But generally, never. The armor, especially if you're a fucking armorer, right, and you're handling all these guns, and in this movie they were using blanks, you should be triple checking every morning to make sure I don't have any real bullets near me. There's no chance of real bullets getting involved here.
I feel like as armorer, you should probably check it 100 times a day.
That's the only job.
You have nothing else to do.
It's the easiest job in the world.
Flirt with whoever you want to flirt with, and then check the gun again and again. Every 10 minutes, check the gun.
All right. So the round that Baldwin fired,
clean it.
The round Baldwin fired was a real bullet. The same bullet you'd buy at a Walmart or a Dick's, whatever, and you'd fire out of the gun.
Jeez.
The last thing to know, guys, if there is a gun on set, here's the protocol. Guns are kept in a safe with the armor. That is done even if the guns on set are plastic. I've been on movie sets where plastic guns are kept in a safe. And out of respect for practicing good safety, out of respect for the protocol, you treat those guns like they're real, even though they're plastic on set. The gun is handed.
You're like, okay, I'll put it in at my own time. Would calm down. I'll get it back in the safe in a second.
This is a little silly.
This is getting ridiculous.
Okay, that's exactly what you don't do, guys. Right. Because you just don't.
Let me put it in the safe. Let me put the plastic gun in the safe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, okay. But then shit like this happens. So the gun is handed from the armor to the first assistant director, right, who inspects it along with the armor. And then there's almost always an announcement made, right, when the gun gets on set to describe what is the protocol of the gun. Is it a cold gun, right? Does it have blanks in it?
Right.
If you said that there was a live round on it, you should walk off set right away because that should never happen. But the first assistant director inspects the weapon Everyone else on set is usually invited to walk up to the weapon and inspect it. So, hey guys, here I'm handing the gun. I'm the armor. I'm handing it to the first assistant director. This has a blank in it. Would anyone like to inspect it? Or this is a cold weapon. Would anyone like to inspect it?
Sounds like an Epstein party. Everyone walks up and inspects it.
Rarely. You have to be real thirsty to actually come and inspect it. And then the gun is handed to the actor. Right now, the actor is also invited to inspect the weapon. But again, all this is usually covered.
Seems ridiculous.
All this is usually covered with a safety meeting at the beginning of the day, right? With the first assistant director is supposed to lead. So here's what we know: there was an armor on this set. Her name was Hannah Gutierrez. This is her second film as an armor, as a head armor. Her father was an armor, and she was identified as the armor who did set up
family biz, huh?
Yeah, not anymore. But she did set up this prop gun, okay, which was placed on a tray with two other prop guns, identical ones, and put by the assistant director to eventually be brought over to Baldwin. Dave Halls, who's the AD who handed Baldwin the gun, he apparently has had complaints over safety on set during his last two productions, not calling safety meetings. There was a production he did for Hulu where the prop master, it's not his job to mess with guns, came in and demanded that they have safety meetings and call out the protocol of weapons before they were used on set.
Yeah, I read he would like make fun of how meaningless the safety. He was a major. Do we really have to put the plastic guns in the safe guy? That was his MO.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
And on the set, guys, of Rust, before the Thursday incident, there were two accidental gun discharges, right? So this is ahead of the incident where Baldwin's stunt double had been told a gun was cold, so no round whatsoever, and it wasn't cold. And this led to a number of crew walking off the set, including the camera operator, okay, which led to the director of photography operating the camera in the scene that killed her. It's not traditional on a medium-sized movie that director of photography.
That guy or girl made the right move, the camera operator.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fucking good.
Probably feels like shit, but that was like definitely the right move.
Is it true, Pat, that this first of all, I heard that this armorer says now that she was probably not ready for this job.
She said that before on a podcast.
Yeah, right. And two, that that they had like joy guns like floating around this fucking set, like they were just using for fun when they weren't actually filming to like go shoot cans or whatever. There was like a fun gun around.
Yes. So the woman who was the armorer said in a podcast before she got this job, she had just wrapped another job where she had acted as the head armor for the first time. She said, I didn't think I was ready. No, that's kind of been taken out of context. She did not say she didn't think she was ready for Rust. She was reminiscing on the previous job she had.
In general, being an armorer for movies.
But she was very green. This was her second job.
Right.
I also read things like they didn't have the A squad, whether it be from strikes or a lack of low budget, and that they were cutting corners and like making people drive 50 plus miles an hour to work instead of putting them up in hotels. So they were showing up to work tired and angry. I heard that like the whole fucking set was just a disaster.
Yes. So this is some stuff from friends of mine that worked on the set or near the set. Production was refusing to get hotel rooms for some of the crew. They were forcing them to drive to Albuquerque when they were shooting right outside of Santa Fe. It's more than a 50-mile drive because it was cheaper. The camera utility guys were sleeping in their cars, and it's really cold in New Mexico at night. It was not a good situation. It was what you'd call a shit show in a movie set situation.
It's like if we were doing a movie exactly how we would do it and have in the past when we've done
when we were children.
When we did like movies for like a 48-hour film festival type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And Baldwin was the executive producer, so he's the guy cheaping out on all this.
Yes.
Potentially. So I don't know the structure of the film, but a lot of times an actor will get a role as an actor, and if they're prestigious enough, they'll get a producer credit, right? Which sometimes they're actually producing, sometimes they're not. I don't know if he was or not on this situation.
I heard he was the part that was the executive producer.
Boy, I hope he was, because he's liable with that title. He's liable with that title for civil lawsuits.
Right.
You know, whether he was. So I hope he was in the decision making, because
look,
he's fucked now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, man. Here's why that there were bullets on set, guys. They were shooting rabbits, so there was some fun time. You guys ever been around someone who doesn't handle guns often when you're on a ranch? It's fun to say, hey, man. Like whenever friends would come down to Texas, we'd go out shooting. They would love it.
Right.
That shouldn't happen at work, and that was happening. They were going around maybe on their lunch break. Let's go grab the guns and go shoot some rabbits. That is so fucking out of protocol. It's disgusting. But the question, I think Mark has made his decision, but I disagree with him, is was it Baldwin's fault?
No, I'm not saying that. First of all, I'd like to know why he was pointing at the camera. You're saying it was a rehearsal, so maybe it was for a scene. But if he was just like, you're not supposed to point a gun at anyone, right?
Absolutely not true in film. Yes, in real life, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting to the nuances of the protocol.
But he is the like associate producer or executive producer. Like, he is liable. Not only did he pull the trigger, which sucks, he was told it was a cold gun, but he's liable for a civil lawsuit for all the things that went wrong that you just described on the set. He pulled the trigger. So it's a double whammy for him. I don't think he's going to do any time, and I don't think they're going to even bring a criminal case. But if her family or anyone wants to sue him, he's going to lose that lawsuit.
I agree. But I agree. But
it's like unintentional manslaughter, right? It's like when you're unintentionally, you're acting in maybe a careless way. If the court can deem that he was acting in a careless way by whether it was pointing the gun, not checking it, not following safety protocols, he's going to be liable.
And who are you going to sue? The 24-year-old armorer, daughter of an armorer that's worth $100,000 liquid, or Alec Baldwin, the guy who pulled the gun and was the top boss on the site?
I agree.
Probably Alec Baldwin is who you're going to sue.
I agree. Yes, he's liable. But here's my take on it. Should it have been prevented? Could it have been prevented? Absolutely. Was it Baldwin's fault? Not necessarily. He was the third line of defense, right, in making sure that the weapon was actually cold. Yeah. So it's first and foremost the first assistant director's fault. Second, the armorer's fault. Third, Baldwin's fault, but only because he's a producer on the movie as well. And it's fourth, everyone who was on that movie set's fault who did not speak up.
Whose job would it be to shut down the site after people were walking off because there was 2 accidents?
First assistant director's job.
Okay.
Or at that level, the producer's job. But
yeah,
imagine this, Mark. It's like if you are taking over a daycare and you're not interacting with the kids, but I say, Mark, if any kid gets hurt, you're liable. That's the responsibility the first AD takes on. So the fact that
I think
so
that
he's
there's
a piece
a lot
of
of people. I think there's a lot of people that did the wrong thing and get in trouble. I know how it's going to end. Alec Baldwin's going to lose millions of dollars, and it's he's also has some liability. But we've done like 20 minutes on this.
Okay.
Covered it.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor today, Crowd Health.
Great job, though, Pat. That was very informative.
Good
sorry I
details,
went long on it. It's
awesome.
personally
It's
to me. It's always fucking. It's horrible, man. When this happens on movie sets, and it should never happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Crowd Health, guys. For most people in the U.S. Who are concerned about the cost of health insurance, there's not a lot of good options. You can either go uninsured, which I did for a long time, or you can pay through the nose for a high deductible plan with questionable coverage, which is what I'm doing right now. And as soon as it's up, I'm moving over to Crowd Health, guys. This is because the insurance system is broken. It's like being stuck with an outdated cable TV plan and not knowing about what was the channel you were telling me to watch Troll 2 on this weekend?
Comet, bro. It's a new sci-fi channel. Get it? Because like Comet from Outer Space, they do only sci-fi. It's like the JV sci-fi channel, and they had Troll 2 on it.
Mark is literally like tweeting at me on Saturday night, like about like my favorite bad movie. He's like, "It's on, Pat. Why aren't you watching it?" He's quoting it to me. I can't. It's like some channel I've never heard of.
My wife and I made my wife watch it for the first time. I was rewinding it. Yeah.
Troll 2. It's great, guys. But anyway, look, it's Crowd Health is not just health insurance. It's a better way to pay your medical expenses. It's a community of people who are tired of paying for a broken system, a place where you can get simple, flexible, and an affordable way to pay for your health care. Pretty cool. Being in Crowd Health community can save hundreds of dollars a month and put thousands back in your pocket. You can use an app, too, that they have, which is really well built, and you can find a doctor nearby, ranked from 1 star to 5, which is something I appreciate a lot because every time I'm searching for a doctor on my weirdo PP70 or whatever the fuck I have, it's a nightmare. Anyway, you can scan bills before you throw them away. It's a full-on situation. So, guys, if you want to get down on this, Crowd Health is able to offer amazing prices because of its community of health-conscious members, and they have an amazing offer for you guys, our listeners, right? So for your first 6 months, you can get that for just $99 per month, and that's a lot of savings, almost 50% versus their standard pricing, and a lot less than those crappy high-deductible plans. You just go to joincrowdhealth.com/99 and enter the code HARDFACTOR at sign up, one word, joincrowdhealth.com/99. Enter the code HARDFACTOR. Crowd Health is not an insurance company. It's a community-powered alternative. Terms and conditions may apply.
It's a hell of a deal.
It is.
I've been around the world, and I found 3 stories.
It's time for the TikTok International Moment.
All right, we are headed to Africa first, then going to go to Europe ×2. So let's get going. We're going to check in on Kruger National Park in South Africa. That's actually been the scene of a few incidents this year, and I think we've reported on a few things there. Like, for example, a woman who got charged for running over a cheetah with her car last month. You can't just kill a cheetah in your stupid car in Kruger National Park. That's
well, I mean, you shouldn't be able
it's
to.
It's like
honestly.
shooting a live round on a set. Just
right.
Not,
but the challenge of trying to run over a cheetah, which can run almost 60 miles an hour, is,
it's true. Was
of
it
any cat.
Was it an ad for her car? Was she like
faster?
Yeah. What car was it?
That's the cheetah. Kia.
So this time it was the animals though that would be doing the running over though, as a suspected poacher was trampled to death by over 10,000 pounds of karma over the weekend when an elephant just stomped on the motherfucker.
Love it.
Yeah.
You love to see a poacher getting killed by an elephant.
You do.
By 12,000 pounds of irony. Allegedly, it was a group of poachers who then abandoned their fellow poacher when they saw the elephant stomp him literally into the ground and to death, obviously. Once he went below the surface of the ground, they started running. They said, not today. Let's get the hell out of here. The elephants are on to us. So
the rest of the elephants now call that elephant Hammer. That's his nickname.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You need to make an example out of him. But, like, that's against poacher's code to just run away and leave your guy there. You know what I mean?
There's no poacher's code.
I'm kidding.
They don't have a code. It's actually not the first time poachers have been trampled to death by fed-up elephants at Kruger National Park. Back in April 2019, a rhino poacher was stamped to death by a giant elephant leg like this. This is the last thing he saw. No! By a giant elephant leg, and then eaten by a pride of lions after the elephant stamped him to death. So the whole park wildlife got in on it. The elephants just squished these morons, and then the big cats and meat-eating animals come in and turn them into Brian Laundrie. They only found that guy's skull back in 2019 in a pair of his trousers, so it was just like his pants way over there, and then his skull, and that was all.
Man, I could see. So, like, did you guys see Wayne LaPierre, the former guy from the NRA, who he had those stools made of elephant feet from an elephant? I think it was 4 stools of elephant feet. I would see why these elephants wanted to make an example out of this poacher, bro. They're taking their legs and turning them into furniture.
Yeah, the elephants are smart and pissed. So if you're going to poach in Kruger National Park in South Africa, look out for the biggest animal on Earth that's definitely going to try and stamp you to death if they see a rifle on your person and hear you muttering about how valuable tusks are. Like, I can't wait to sell all these horns and tusks. And I'm so interested in that I can't hear literally the largest land mammal sneaking up on me. Like,
I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the ivory burning?
Burning the tusks.
Are you familiar with that?
No, I don't. So, off the top of my head, not knowing it, I don't like it.
So here's the deal.
Guess what it is.
When they find large stashes of illegally just ivory, period, they'll burn it as an example. It's like, hey, you can't buy this. We don't want it on the street. We're just destroying it off the earth. But some argue it just raises the price of ivory and further incentivizes poachers. I don't know.
I like that argument. I think it does.
I don't know what it really proves, burning the ivory. I mean, how about make an example of them by arresting them for a long period of time?
But then who gets the ivory, you know?
I don't know. Put it in a museum. Give it to back to the national park.
Give it back to the elephants.
Yeah, give back to the elephants. It's like a peace offering. Like,
yeah, they love that.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Just a graveyard of their brother and sister's tusks.
Or sell it to fund some conservation.
That's what I'm
efforts.
saying. Sell it and then build better things in the park. Maybe give them like chains around their legs so they can stomp them people easier.
There you go.
And if you're gonna get trampled to death by an elephant that you are seeking out, you're a real idiot. Like, that's on you. That's a pretty bad way to die. You know, I'm gonna go try to steal stuff off this elephant. Oh, I'm dead. Idiot. Anyways, next we're going to the UK. In the UK, we have another man that was ruined from above. From things above, just like the last story. This time it's a man who was sitting in his backyard in Windsor, England, enjoying a nice warm summer day this July a couple months ago, when he looked up and saw a lot of stuff heading his and his garden's way fast from up in the air. And then he started to see, oh, that looks brown. that looks brown. And it was because it was human shit and waste from a plane that flew overhead and dumped a plane's load of shit on top of the man's head. And it landed all over him.
My God.
So have you why do they have this option? The dump option, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you've ever drained an RV, if you've ever had the fucking horrible experience of having to release the valve on an RV when it's full because you can't get to the fucking vacuum place, that's exactly it. It's like a vacuum hose, right?
Yeah.
It's like a reverse gas gauge or not like hole, right? Why do they have like a dump option?
I think
like Operation Dumbo Drop with shit.
Yeah, the executioner or the person that has the button, I think you just have to hit the button and just never read the local paper again. Just be like, that's it. Just wipe your hands of it. Never think of it again.
Yeah, an engineering mistake.
It's not great, right? According to a local counselor, because this guy, the reason it's coming back in this news is because he's suing now. So it's like the lawsuit's like picking up. According to a local counselor he said his whole garden umbrellas, and himself were covered in poop. And I think we covered a similar story where a family in California and like their neighbors were out in the above ground pool or whatever, and like they all got kind of splattered at the pool. But this is apparently what happens here is it's rare, but planes do dump frozen sewage occasionally, and this dude was in the path to London Heathrow, so like they try to like dump frozen sewage over like not populated areas. So this guy's probably in a remote area directly in line with London Heathrow. They hit the dump button, mistimed it. Normally it's just a block of shit that probably, if it had hit him would have killed him, but also probably would have missed him because it's just one block of shit. But since it was a hot July day, it turned back into shit and like
slowly melted.
It melted on the way down.
He's like, could have killed him if it remained a block, though.
I know, could have, but it also probably would have missed him because it's smaller.
Right,
so
right.
You run the risk of you could have died by a block of frozen shit or
He's
nothing.
kind of lucky.
Yeah, and then it just melted.
It wouldn't be a block. It would be like a frozen tarp of shit because it would be freezing as it's touching the air as it's being let go.
It's messed up, man. It's messed up. It ended up with him getting the Joe Dirt treatment when he thought, there it is. He thought he had like a missile or a rocket, and it was just a tub of shit. So he's suing, and I would say, give him whatever he's asking for. Right? You dumped a plane load of shit on his head. Like,
do they know which airline it was and which plane?
I don't think they're speaking up.
Man, nobody's gonna admit to that.
No, they have to. What they did with the family in California is they sent in the shit and tested it, like the airline, the National Airline Safety Commission has to like test the shit, and then like they can do a DNA check
Ask
and
for stool samples.
see who was on the on those flights. But yeah,
that's incredible.
Tough day for that guy. All right, and our last stop today is in Spain, and it's a good one. Some interesting claims have emerged about Spain's controversial former king, Juan Carlos I. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, interesting looking guy though.
No.
Okay. According to testimony from ex-police commissioner and Secret Service boss Jose Manuel Villarejo, there you go, who is on trial himself for blackmail and corruption, so we got to take what he says with a grain of salt. And according to a former mistress of the king, King Juan Carlos had such a strong and violent sex drive, even at 70 years of age, that he was causing all sorts of issues with his horniness, and people in his inner circle and Secret Service decided they had to stop the king by secretly dosing him with female hormones and testosterone inhibitors to get him to stop humping everything that walked and pumping his chest out to all the guys he worked with.
Jesus, what a handful.
What a man that needs that,
He had too much testosterone to be around. Like, no one could be around this guy.
What a specimen.
Yeah. His rampant desire to bone was, quote, becoming a danger to the state. Villarejo claimed that former National Intelligence Center, like their CIA boss, their CNI for them, and close ally of King Juan Carlos, Felix Sanz Roldan, was the mastermind behind the female hormones plot. It probably was like, we have to do something about Juan Carlos. The king is fucking all of our daughters, and don't get me started with his handshake. What the hell is he with the deal with those? Is he trying to break all of our fingers?
Was it because of potential daughter fuckery, or was it like war?
I think all of the above. I think the people
war
in
on their
circle-
daughter's genitals.
Yeah, exactly. I think people were sick of him fucking their wives in the inner circle and just like I said, squeezing their shoulders way too hard. He was having his way with his testosterone.
Spain has a ceremonial king and a president, or is it just the king is the leader?
No, he's
You're not
the
asking
leader.
that for real, are you?
He's the king's
Yeah,
leader.
yeah. Okay.
No, yeah,
He's king's leader.
Is it like the UK where there's a ceremonial fucking queen?
No,
and then
because I'll tell you. So we'll get to it. Juan Carlos's former mistress, Karina Zhu Sain Wittgenstein, allegedly said back in 2016 that people in the royal entourage were giving Juan Carlos, quote, a lot of female hormones to take away his strength. They have taken everything from him. He could not be with a woman or anything anymore. So they just took this guy's penis away from him with these hormones. There's also some alleged medical records that show traces of testosterone inhibitors in Juan Carlos's system. And Juan Carlos was the king of Spain from 1975 to 2014 when he took over in 1975 from General Franco, who was like a dictator, and he moved Spain to become a democracy. This Juan Carlos guy did. So he had some power. He had some influence. But he's currently being investigated for money laundering millions and millions of dollars in kickbacks he allegedly accepted while ruling, and then cleaned and hid it in Swiss bank accounts. So this guy was he was paying mistresses to keep their mouths shut. He was just a menace toward the end of his reign, accepting every bribe and fucking everything that moved. So his inner circle had to drug him into being a beta male because he was way too alpha.
What a run, though.
Yeah.
God did something right with him, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
But they have a prime minister, right?
Look at him looking for that woman he wants to bang out there. He's like, where is she? I don't know, Pat, about that, but it sounds like, unlike the Queen of England, he had some influence.
Yeah, well, he's clearly just a dominant figure. So
Yeah, did you hear the story?
yeah,
Any venue that
They
he's
had
in.
to give him female hormones and take his testosterone away because he was a pill. And look, not everyone has the drive of King Juan Carlos I. That guy was a once-in-a-generation libido, right? But it's okay, because when the moment for intimacy arrives, you can be ready. You can be Roman ready. Whether you've been in a relationship for years or just getting started, having the confidence that comes from preparation means you're free to enjoy the moment when the moment arises. Even though you are far from ordinary, the truth is that ED is very common. In fact, 52% of guys aged 40 to 70 experience some form of erectile dysfunction, and the benefits of ED treatment can help you reconnect with your partner and rediscover the joy of sex. Roman's system is completely confidential and totally discreet. No big logos or labels on the packages, right? With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. Nice. And getting started is simple. Just go to roman.com/hardfactor and complete an online visit. Go to GetRoman, GetRoman.com/hardfactor today. And if you're prescribed, get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this fall. You're going to be indoors a lot. Be Roman ready. Go to GetRoman.com/hardfactor.
Nice. Got another sexy new sponsor. Let me ask you guys a question. Are you guys getting enough? And by getting,
always never.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Could always
And
be more.
Yeah. Well, and by getting, I mean banging, and by enough, I mean other people's holes.
You really ask him that question? It's like the king of Spain over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really asking?
Have you been
yeah,
getting
yeah.
enough?
Yeah, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I bet you love more holes, right? That's what I'm getting at. Well, AdamandEve.com wants to give you more with 50% off just about any item, plus free shipping on your entire order. 50% off. It's pretty good. So what do you have to do to get your 50% off one item and free shipping? Well, it's not hard. Just go to AdamandEve.com, select any one item. Could be, adventurous new toy, anything you really desire. Maybe a costume for Halloween. I don't know what they have on there, but it's got to be good. Just enter offer code HARDFACTOR at checkout, and you'll get 50% off almost any item. Go check out AdamandEve.com today. Select one item and get 50% off, including free shipping when you enter code HARDFACTOR, HARDFACTOR, HARDFACTOR at AdamandEve.com. You might want to go check that site out. It's
Could you imagine this double here? You go get your online visit, GetRoman.com/hardfactor, get some pills sent to you in 2 days, go to Adam and Eve, You get $15 off that. Go to Adam and Eve and get 50% off like sexy lingerie or maybe a little cock ring. Or
Tell you what, I appreciate that on Adam and Eve. They categorize the sex toys in realistic, vibrating, and huge. That's one of the huge is one of the categories, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Thank God.
Listen, they got everything you want.
Yeah,
if you can't find it on Adam and Eve, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Let's just say that.
That's true.
All right, boys. Seeing as how we do have these new incredible sponsors, I thought it would be appropriate to do a threesome of sex-related stories for your enjoyment. So,
threesome.
Yeah, maybe it's this. Maybe not everyone's enjoyment. Some of you are actually going to hate this segment, and you will see why. But let's get it going. So again, 3 sex-related stories. I think it's appropriate we learn about one of the tools used in sex before we go any further, and that tool is the tool of tools, the cock, the custard launcher, the ding-a-ling, the hammer, the wee-wee. And according to a new study, how you refer to your penis might depend on the size of your nose, because contrary to popular belief, the foot is not the best determination for speculating on the size of a dude's penis. It's actually the schnoz.
Whoa.
Believe that shit? You believe it?
No.
No? Well, I don't know. So I apologize to anyone who might have, penis dysmorphia out there, which is now a recognized disorder, a disorder having to do with insecurity around the size of your dick. It's a real thing. So listen up, you gorilla dick button nose bastards. This is gonna ruin your day. A survey published in Basic and Clinical Andrology measured the stretched penile length. So they call it the SPL. So you take your penis, you pull it out, right? Of 126 adults. This is not erect. This is not erect.
Wait a minute. Pull it out.
This is not erect. This is not
Stretch it.
erect. Right. This isn't an erect penis. This is the
Guys are like turning blue.
Yeah.
It's like a fitted sheet. It's like trying to put on a fitted sheet.
That's right. So they took 126 adults between 30 and 60 years
I
of
can
age,
stretch it further.
alongside a range of other data like
Is this a queen?
um,
I got a king.
alongside other data like nose size, height, and weight. And they found a direct correlation between nose size and penis length. In fact, other than just seeing the flaccid penis itself, seeing the nose is the next best thing to see to get a good idea of whether or not, as Miss Yella would say, if it's worth it and how hard you got to work it.
So
what I
that
mean?
guy behind you.
So this guy, we'll get to him later.
Okay.
So in a short YouTube video on his social channels, some surgeon, YouTube doctor, Anthony Juan, this guy, he's like a sex expert, penis expert. He talks about implants and stuff. He broke down the most important, key takeaway of this thing. He says men with larger noses have an average wiener length of 5.3 inches, where men with shorter noses had an average length of 4.1 inches. So not a great study for guys with tiny noses, I'll tell you. Just walking around now.
Dr. Big Nose smiling over there. Look at him. He loved that study.
Yeah. So FY, this is the guy. Mehmet Ozyurik from Turkey. He holds the world record for longest nose in the world.
That's not the only. Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that guy. 3.46 inches from the bridge to the tip. But this kind of throws things out the window, because this is Jonah Falcon, and he doesn't look like he has a very big nose, does he? Not really, but he's got the biggest dick on earth with a unconfirmed but confirmed, not anything official but official, 13.5-inch erect penis. So
he's what you call an outlier in statistical data.
Yes, he's an outlier, but he's got the biggest, but he doesn't have a big nose. So interesting stuff.
Got a third leg.
Yeah. If you might want to.
That's the guy that was on Stern a lot, right?
He is on Stern a lot. Yeah. He's always on Stern.
They always prank call him because he has a shitty Mets podcast that no one listens to, and they always prank call him. They're like, "How big is your dick?"
He tries so hard not to let that be the only thing.
Richard and Sal call him 20 times a week and pretend to ask him a Mets question. They're like, "Whoa, who are the Mets playing this week?" Well, by the way, how big's your dick? Is it 13 inches?
Yeah. He does. He was doing porn, and he's like, he's all into all of it. So let's keep it moving closer to actual sex. And what I'm, about to talk about is sex. It's just really frustrating and boring sex. So let's explore the Mormon tradition of soaking, which we've talked about before. But for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me just play this little video for you by this TikToker and ex-Mormon, Lexi McDonald, who is stirring up controversy in this interview she gave to BuzzFeed.
Mormons, usually teenage to college student kind of age, are very sexually repressed. Because obviously they're not allowed to touch themselves. They're not allowed to look at anything sexual. They're not allowed to even like hug or kiss anybody for an extended period of time. But sometimes it gets to a point where they just can't help themselves. So soaking is a thing that happens.
Come on.
That is basically where the boy puts his penis inside the girl and then they just hold still. No thrusting, because that would be sex. But if you put it in and you just sit there and don't move, it doesn't count. It sounds like I'm making that up, but I promise you that is a thing that happens in Provo, Utah every day.
So there you go. That's what soaking is. And it's the acceptable, I guess, loophole in the Mormon religion where you can remain pure. You don't go to hell, which, of course, sexual sin is the sin next to murder, according to Mormons. So within the
guy
church,
who came up with soaking is a fucking hero.
He's a genius Mormon sex lawyer is what he is.
Right.
He's like the highest. Was it John Smith? It's like after him, it's this guy. Whoever.
Well, I bet what happened is some guy that really wanted to work around this, but also not go to hell, hired a bunch of Mormon sex lawyers to just study the rule of Mormon for years and years, and then one guy found a loophole. Imagine that day, man.
Wow.
it's
soaking.
So to take it a step further, some Mormons are so scared of hell and delusional beyond repair that they are participating in something called jump humping. And here's a video about jump humping.
Because Mormons think that without friction, Jesus isn't going to be mad.
Exactly. You just go with the motion of the ocean, and then sometimes there's a third person who rocks the bed for you. You're just not allowed to move.
Because, it's okay if there are outside forces creating friction, but you can't be the one to involve in the act.
Yeah. It's like an act of service. Jesus said serve others, so...
When your bestie is called to soak in a BYU dorm, and you have to jump hump for her.
Come on.
So that last video is a girl. This is big in BYU where the girls get called over by their girl. The guy's like, hey, I want to soak. Come over, baby.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we want to jump hump. So someone has to go and jump on the bed. And that's how they that's how they fuck.
Lisa, I swear to God, you said you would fucking jump hump with me today.
Higher.
What are you talking about? You're
Jump
going out.
higher.
They get the big girls to get out of the bed and jump.
Oh, you want a fat guy.
That's how
fat guys
babies
are
get
real
made.
popular.
Yeah, you get the heaviest person, know.
I mean,
Jump hump.
We could make a lot of money at BYU.
Oh,
talk about really raising the stakes of pressure for these gentlemen. Not only are you asking the guys to just put their dong in and hang out, right, without jizzing everywhere, but then also you're bringing another woman into the bedroom who's cool to be there.
Yeah. Jump humping.
It's crazy. So it's gotten out of control.
It's like those beds in the hospital. They're like you have someone pushing the button like to move the bed up, and the legs of the bed in. Yeah,
the vibrating beds.
Yeah, there's a third party's putting a quarter in the bed.
Right. Yeah.
As long as you don't put the quarters in.
So the BYU Virginity Club weighed in on this craze, putting out this statement full of some way less fun alternatives to sticking your penis in the vagina. And here's the statement they put out. It says, but the truth is soaking and I think they might say jump humping, and other variants are an affront to God. The Bible warned of these prophets who come to us when we are most vulnerable and preach immorality as virtue. So they suggested instead of soaking, try basking in the light of the Lord. Instead of jump humping, try jumping to your feet to sing God's holy hymns.
No.
Yeah.
Said repressed homosexuals of the BYU Virginity Club. They're one layer removed from not being able to deal with this because they can't admit that they're gay first, and then second that they want to fuck.
Yeah, they could use
unless there's another explanation for why the fuck you joined the Virginity Club at BYU.
I mean, because you're scared, Pat. Because you've been so fucking brainwashed your whole life that you think you might actually go to hell. And then this meme I thought was funny. It would say, soaking is a practice. Soaking is a practice used by some young Mormons, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, this is so effective because God is a T-Rex and his vision is based on movement. And it's a T-Rex climbing through the window dressed as God, and they're like not moving in the bed. And they says, where'd they go?
You can't see if they don't move.
You can't see them. God's a T-Rex.
What percentage of soaks end in full-on sex?
I'd say
100%.
99%. Yeah.
110% of sex.
Right.
You tell Big Betty to get off the bed and leave because it's about okay, we figured it out. Thank you for the jump humping. Now, if you want to leave, please.
I mean, it's
Or
worse than like, we grew up like being like semi-scared as just regular Christians with dry humping, right? But like soaking is just a whole different level that's just going to end in sex.
You're nervous with no religion at all. Think about these guys. They're just they're told that it's next to murder.
Soaking ends in a ton of like pregnancies and
abortions.
Yeah, exactly. The guy, the second he's in there for the first time and he's soaking, he's finishing inside there.
They should call it a leak in the faucet or something, or like a dripping. They should call it dripping.
Well, they also call it fermenting. They call it like I forget one of the other ones. It's
Plug
something ridiculous. Yeah, something like here's another funny picture I found of someone posted. It's when you're at BYU and get woken up by your roommate cursing at her boyfriend for pumping twice during a soaking session.
Stop it!
BYU is crazy, man. They got some crazy shit going on at BYU.
That's amazing. You know, guys are testing out the pump to see if she complains too.
Oh,
it's
of course.
You do like full pump and she doesn't say anything. Then you give it a beat, and then you do another pump, and then it's on, right? Like,
yeah. All right, and then last
finding reasons to have to like move a little bit.
Right.
Are you on this position's a little uncomfortable here? I'm going to shift. Oh, okay.
Oh, it slipped. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's better soak angle.
This is going to team up with the other TikTok of everyone purposely getting Tourette's, and they're going to pretend like they have a tick, and it's going to start humping away.
I like that. That's a good idea. All right, it's time to go all the way, like Madonna in A League of Their Own. We're going all the way, May, and we are going to talk about a new trend called fluid bonding. You guys hear about this shit?
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah. Well, it's actually pretty it's just a new like way to say fucking without protection. So fluid bonding, it's not chemical or biological process. Fluid bonding happens when partners consensually or consciously decide to have sex without condoms or dental dams and exchange bodily fluids. And depending on the people and sex acts involved, those fluids might include semen, saliva, vaginal fluids, and anal secretions or blood. So, you might be thinking to yourself, I fluid bond every time I have rough sex. Nothing new here.
There's stages to fluid bonding. Anal secretions being at the high end.
Yeah.
Of the
Listen, you're coming if you're not using a condom and you're coming, you're fluid bonding. Yeah. So, but you're missing the whole thing. So, the key difference between simply fucking without a condom and the true intimate experience that comes with making a conscious decision to share bodily juices and really concentrating on that part of the act, that's difference. According to some people in publications trying to make a name for themselves with this bullshit, like the publication Inside Hook, fluid bonding with partner is an active, conscious choice that revolves around consent and intent, the opposite of stealthing, where you technically, fluid bond, but through trickery and sleight of hand.
That's Loki's version of fluid bonding.
Right. And this other woman, Luna Matatas, who's like a creator of Peg the Patriarchy, she talked to Women's Health saying fluid bonding is a term that describes pre-established agreement between two or more people to intentionally go without barriers, aka consensually fucking without protection. And Shanae Adams, a sex expert, education, and clinical counselor, says it's more than just not using a condom. It's a pact between two people who acknowledge the risks, rewards, and seriousness of barrier-free sex, as well as their mutual responsibility in protecting each other's health and well-being. So, it's.
I don't see it as a different classification of.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's the awareness that there. It's like if you feel like you're about to fuck someone after a night at the bar, you're drunk, and you're like, hey, I don't have an STD. Do you have an STD? And you're like, no, I don't think so. And you're like, okay, well, we're gonna fuck without a condom then.
Can't believe I fluid bonded with Nelson and of crabs now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just fluid bonding.
You can't get crabs through fluid bonding.
No, well, whatever.
Yeah, you can.
Pubes. Yeah,
definitely.
But it's not a fluid. It's a friction thing. It's friction
sweat,
bonding.
Yeah, but sweat. So you
insert
can do
any disease.
You can do it with sweat, saliva, blood. So French kissing, oral sex. You can just fuck without a condom, participate in this.
Yeah, we call that. Hey, cool if I raw dog.
Right.
Sick.
Yeah.
Right. They just trying to make it more meaningful. They're trying to
call it whatever they want. Yeah, they're trying to not sound like men and female horse.
Right. Exactly. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah,
so.
we're fluid bonders. We're not.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sex. We don't have the drive of Juan Carlos. We're just fluid bonders.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're trying to redefine the RDC. Like, hey, let's have a real quick raw dog chat. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're cool.
That's right.
Simple.
So,
Leave it as
bullshit.
is.
Bunch of bullshit. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Thank you for joining us on this fine Monday. We'll be back with us tomorrow. Make sure to check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Hard Factor. We're up to over 350 people on there. Keep growing. Check out Starship, the altcoin. It's going to take off to the moon. If you want to get in on that, still a lot of time. And then go to store.hardfactor.com. Check out, sign up for a year. Send in the car, you get a free sweatshirt. Year of Pop the Clutch, you get a free t-shirt. And a year of Florida Man Friday, you get a free mug, I think is what we're doing. So join us. It's a lot of fun.
Or
We love you.
You could just soak it for a month.
Yeah, you can just soak it. Yeah. We'll jump on your bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love you. Have a great fucking day.
Patreon.com/Hard Factor.